I'm David, and I've got another little short video for you here now. It's not a very long one, but the question is really, I mean, this is it, I'm on my Himalayan, and as you can see, like, because we're in the valleys as it were, right, the weather's come in and it is absolutely hammering down. Very bad. The road is slippy all the way. And, well, at the end of the day, to be honest, I mean, everyone does these tests on motorbikes, but they always do it in sunny weather, don't they? Now, this is obviously the Royal Enfield Himalayan 411cc, la-di-da-di-da. What do I think of my bike? To be honest with you, I really love this bike. Now, I'm testing it. I'm doing this purposefully today to show, well, could it be used, in a standard urban environment for, let's say, commuting to work or something like that. So, this journey is quite short. What I'm running from now is Abertillery over to the big pit. Just to give this little road test in the bad weather. The tyres I've got on board on her at the moment are Pirellis, E10s or whatever they are. That's what you would, as far as I'm aware, it's what you like, cross terrain, is it? I don't know. You people will correct me. But as in for an adventure bike, so we can go ride in the dirt, as it were. But I'm testing it on a very greasy, wet road surface, right? And we'll see how they cope. What can I tell you so far? So far on the trip now, on the one roundabout, I did have a bit of a slip. Expect it. I mean, this is really, really bad rain. A normal motorcycling person who perhaps does it as a hobby, I mean, they wouldn't dare probably go out in this weather. But there we go, we're testing for commuting, and so this is the, I don't know, this is the worst you'll probably get. This section anyway. So as I say, we're on the approach now. You can't see anything because you can see the clouds come in, but just over on the right is you'd be looking down into Abertillery. Visibility is really, really bad, as you can see. Anyway, I'll leave you carry on for a second. I'm not sure you can make it out now, but the cars ahead of me and everything else, the traffic has totally slowed down because the heavens just opened up, give us a double hit, to the point that visibility was absolutely terrible. And I would say that the rainwater was probably, I don't know, 10 mil deep, I suppose. I don't know, I'm doing a metric for some. And this is standard when the weather comes in bad in the valleys. Actually, that's the right turn. That'll actually take you into Abertillery town centre. We're going straight on. Some of you might remember now, this was the part of the journey we did with Dr. A on her Outlaw. But she had the little incident, didn't she, liver? You'll see where that, well, we won't actually go past where that is now. It was just a bit up further. So here we are. As you can see now, the rain. See how shiny the road is. It's going to get worse. But as I say, this bike, could you use it for commuting? I'll tell you now. In my opinion, you could. I'll give a bit of a breakdown at the end of the video on that kind of thing. But as I say, it's very, very dodgy road at the moment. Very slippy. So obviously I'm being as cautious as I can be, but of course, like, it's me, isn't it? And if you go out in weather like this, you best put your waterproofs on, innit? Right, so as I say, don't do as I do as I say this is, because all I wear is a pair of jeans, a jacket, a pair of gloves, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm Welsh, I'm used to the wet weather, aren't I? So I'm getting a good soak in. Oh, by the way, when I say jeans, I mean proper jeans. Alright, proper motorcycle jeans. I don't mean wearing my Levi 401s. To be honest, the jeans I I got them from Sports Bike, whatever it is. Look them up on the website. But they're bullet jeans and that pretty good. They're lined, so even though I'm getting soaking wet, it's not really soaking through that badly on the legs. I'm pretty nice and warm. And obviously the jacket I got, well, it's a proper motorcycle jacket. Um, I'll tell you about that another day. To be honest, I picked it up at the NEC, but not from the dodgy. Was the case, wasn't there? Oh no, that was London, wasn't it? I'm talking about Birmingham. And to be fair, yeah, it's a good jacket. Got it at a pretty discounted price, so in that respect, it was worth going for that, I suppose. Anyway, carry on. The other thing, as I seem to notice, is I'm going through Abbotsford quite a bit, and I'm treating it as though there's no history there or anything. There's a lot of it. As you can see, I haven't got the weather really to start showing you around it. But I will be, as the weather starts to improve, I will be giving you little tours like that. Um, but by me not mentioning anything Abbotsford doesn't mean that I dislike Abbotsford or anything like that. It's not a bad little town, to be fair. But I will share more about the area here. Um, as time progresses. Anyway, I'll leave you carry. Oh no, hang on a minute. I'm on this lovely roundabout. So as we go around here now, right? As you can see, I mean, it's slip, and I did slip. It was very, very slippy. Um, the Himalayan, how did she do? She did fine. Pulled out quite nicely. I'm gonna be honest, the riding it and everything. I really do enjoy the bike. Sorry, that wasn't the roundabout. That was fine. As you saw, I just flew around that, no bother at all. I think it might be the next roundabout coming up. Actually, I'll talk to you about it as we hit it. Again, I apologise about picture control as well, but as I said, dude, this is hammering down, and that's about as good as it's gonna get for a bit. But I mean, the weather is absolutely tipping. Um, I don't. I think certain parts of Wales are actually on a flood warning this day. Um, and if we are, I bet your life, then on the flatter lands of England, they probably you probably had it a lot worse in some of the areas, and as I suppose Suffolk way, Norfolk way, that way where it's pretty flat there. Anyway, I'll leave you carry on. Right, this is the roundabout I was on about. Now, as we go around, as we go around it, as you can see her now, coming around, coming around, coming around, and then she really does slip around about there. But I would turn around and say that probably a lot of bikes would have done the same thing, irrelevant of what type of bike it is. I mean, K12 BMW, she would definitely have slipped there. I know that because I have pushed that girl quite a bit. So here we are now. We're going up. As I say, we're heading to the big pit, and we're heading. You know, the more observant of you will see a sign come up eventually on the left-hand side, which actually says "Welcome to the Beacons," because we are going on to the outer inner edge or whatever you want to call it, to the Beacons. Here we go. We go around here, and she's all right. And she's all right on this one until I actually come off. There we go. We go around here now, look, and then whoop, and then she just give a little slip there, which is just fine. As you saw, it was really, the water was quite deep there. But yeah, as I say, keep your eye open. You will see the sign saying, you know, the Brecon Beacons, because you know this is where we're heading into now. Now on this stretch there's quite a few cattle grids, okay? Again, the more experienced bikers out there know what I mean about those things, but in the rain they're slippery as hell. I can't say much now, as I say, the visibility is down to not very good at all. I will do this on a sunny day so you can actually compare it, to be honest. Anyway, if you do this route, I'll put a map up and everything, but I won't do it on this one. I'll do it next time I do it. Again, you have to be aware of obviously livestock. Now in this weather, when it's like this, you know, you can't see that far forward. Problems you have are obviously sheep, obviously cattle. I think you get some horses up here as well, so you've got to be very aware of that. Now you can't see here as well as there's quite a strong wind building up, and this road is slippy. But in sunnier climes, sunnier days and weekends and stuff like that, you do see around here, you know, a lot of the, I don't know what you call it. Is it paraglide? I'm not sure. Use a parachute now with an engine on the back. I haven't got a clue. You get some of that going on. It's also good for kite flying if that's your thing. But then again, the other places I've been as well, I mean, like for instance, if any of you watch the Bedlin or Gwen, the common ground there, that'd be good for kites, you know, if that's your thing. But something else to be aware of is if you ever go rambling, this is how quick the weather can change. And now this is, I mean, we are high up. I couldn't tell you the meterage right now, but you can look it up on Google, above sea level. And this is how quick the weather can change. Now visibility is getting far worse. The rain is really hammering down. So anyone who decides they're going to go rambling and all that around Snowdonia and or the Beacons or whatever should, you know, make sure they carry the right kit, because this can kill. You know, exposure. You may have heard of it. Anyway, I'll leave you carry on. See, we're coming up to, I think we're coming up to the top. It's hard to tell, to be honest. And you can't see a thing. That's because of the weather. But on a sunny day, the views are spectacular. So again, that's why I will do it on a sunny day. Plus, also I like riding around the Beacons anyway. It's good fun, especially on a motorbike. I mean, you could cycle this if that's your thing as well. I think we get a lot of cyclists coming up here, but obviously not on a day like today. Well, not yet anyway. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Anyway, enjoy. Well, no, as I said, we're still climbing. So, if you're going to do this, keep your eye out on the sort of right-hand side, because we will be having to do a right turn. Alright. As I say, visibility is pretty lousy. There's a couple of nice pubs we've actually gone past, but I don't think you could have really seen, to be honest, because of, well, it's just generally because of the rainfall. Now, as I say, be aware now, there's a right turn coming up. And that's where we'll be going. I think it's a little bit further on, so I'll leave you carry on. Right, the right turn is coming up now. As I say, visibility is a bit naughty, so wait for that to come around. Now, as you do this, right, on a normal day, it's no biggie, right, but you're downhill now, right, and that's a bend, obviously, to the left. Now, this weather there, I actually slipped there, just because of the rainfall, it's fine. As I say, absolutely no issues at all, really. On a sunny day, it's quite a nice little turn. Cyclists as well. Now, you wouldn't think in this weather you'd see a cyclist, would you? And you really wouldn't. But, you know, keep an eye now. I think you're going to see one coming up. There you go. Now that, joking aside, that's a committed cyclist. It is absolutely tipping down. I've waved him on 4 times and he didn't pull out, but that's because he had glasses on and the rain is hammering. Anyone who wears glasses knows what I'm on about. So yeah, kudos to him. He's out there, committed, and I like that. The other thing now is keep an eye. There's a brewery comes up, Rumney Brewery. And bless them, they've put the Ukrainian flag up in support for Ukraine. So, big shout out to them. So, anyway, here we are. We're heading to this place called the Big Pit. Now, I'll give you a little brief outline, okay? So, the Big Pit is a National Coal Museum. Right? It's an industrial heritage museum in Blaenavon, Torfaen, Wales. Okay? And it was a working coal mine from about 1880 right the way through to 1980. All right, and then it was turned into a museum. I think around about 1983, under the National Museum of Wales, whatever whatever you want to call it. And it is dedicated to operational preservation of the Welsh heritage of coal mining, which took place in the Industrial Revolution. Remember, I bored you with mentioning that, but it's something you should look up. Alright, now, you can find this quite easily just by tapping it on Google. It'll give you a map up and everything else you want for it. But it's not far from a place called Pontypool. Oh, and there's another thing about it as well. Some of you people out there like trains. I understand that. Even Ross Stewart likes trains. But you've got Pontypool and Blaenavon Railway. Now, that's something to keep an eye on, because sometimes they run steam trains down it. So anyway, as you see here, we've just pulled into the actual car parking area for the Big Pit. Now, as you see here, now I turn in here. Now, what I was going to tell you is I totally planned this, right? I didn't, because I'd forgotten. I hadn't been up here for a while, and the last time I came up, it was actually on my Harley. That was on a sunny day. And I forgot about, it's a hill in there. It's about down in there. So the car park's on a slope, as it were. So I pulled up there, I thought, oh no, but I remember now. So what I was really going to say is, I was going to say, oh yeah, I planned this just to show you, but no. The trick here, as you can see, is to park up in the top the top car park, I'll call it. Right, so you come out to there, turn left, Here she goes. Okay, so putting it in. Now you might see there's a building at the top of the hill, as it were. Right, that's the wash area and canteen. It's all to do with the museum itself. And by the way, they do some lovely Welsh cakes in there. So you get a nice cup of tea and a Welsh cake. Can't beat that. Anyway, here we are. This is where I park. So what I'm doing in now is because, you know, I'm a big lad. I took up 2 spaces, so I'm going to pull forward. Right, and straighten myself up. There we go. I'm getting more over onto the left there. Now what I'm doing now is gently let it roll back and let the rear wheel sit on the curb, as well as then I left it in first gear as well, because it is a little bit of a slope, or incline, or whatever you want to call it. So, here is the big pit. Right, and that's kind of like the end of this journey, as in the ride. It's pretty pointless running the camera any further because of the amount of rainfall. So, I'll tell you some more now. Right, there's a photograph we took of the big pit on a different day, better weather. I think, to be honest, I think I did. I was on my BMW. I rode up on my BMW when I took that. I think it was. And it was a different day, a bit cloudier, as you can see, but it was dry. So, what did they do with the big pit? It's definitely worth a visit, 100%. Because the good thing is they take you down. I think it's 90 meters, and they actually show you underground. You know, to see, give you. I mean, give you an insight. It's not really showing the harshness of the job, but it gives you an insight. You can see working underground, and you're taken around by ex-miners normally, and you know, ask them any question you want, and it really is worth it. Plus, also, you've got to wear all the gear when you go down. So, you know, and that's another story I'll talk you through another day. But as if for a day out, whatever, family, definitely worth it. You can spend a whole day there because you have, as you can see, that's where the lift is. It takes you underground. But you have another underground experience, which is just halfway up the hill, as it were. And then you've got the museum section at the top there, which shows you the shower rooms and gives you a bit of history to the pit and a bit of history to the area. So I would say definitely 100% worth a visit. Because it is the Industrial Revolution. It's not just Welsh history. It's this history of England and Scotland as well. I mean, you know, in Scotland they're collierymen. So it's definitely, if you get a chance to have a look and see how bad as well it was for the Welsh, and as well as the working classes in the Yorkshire area, Lancashire areas, and obviously some parts of Scotland, and the way that you know, the working classes were abused, put underground. But anyway, that's another political issue and not my problem at the minute. But it's worth you looking into. Now, the next photograph that's going to come up, as you can see, it's at night, obviously, and you can see the pink and I suppose purpley bluey kind of light that's shining on the tower. I'm calling the tower being the, you know, the winch work for the lift. Now the reason they've done this, myself and Dr. Ray drove up to take the photograph. It was last year, 2022, because you know, some people wouldn't be aware, but we have what's called the Welsh Baby Loss Awareness Week, right, which is to do with, you know, babies and infants, you know, die, and that's from the 9th to the 15th of October, and the big pit they lit up for the week, the pit in that well, with that colour, and as you see that light in, I think it's quite touching that they do that. It's a terrible thing that happens, stillbirth, miscarriage, you know, and young'uns dying. You know, it's not a comfortable thing, is it? But it's nice they do this. But yeah, if you've suffered anything like that and you need help, if you just tap in, what I said, you know, there'll be people there that can probably help you, and well, you know, in some way or other. Well, help is the wrong word, isn't it? Perhaps listen, because sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes, isn't it? You need someone just to listen to you. Anyway, that's that. I don't want to bring you down too much because my objective is to try and make all of you smile, and this isn't a subject that makes people smile, really, is it? But as in the big pit, 100% worth it. As I said, the Himalayan as a general commuter bike, if that's what you wanted it for, well, to be honest, it's priced reasonably. Will it do the job? Most definitely. Uh, in bad weather like rain, this isn't the worst weather I've ever ridden in. I'll tell you now. But that's what this is about. It's nasty weather. Now, I would turn around and say that the rainfall's happening here. You know, if you're living in a city area, I don't know, like London or Milton Keynes or whatever, you know, your commute run, it's never going to be emptying down like it was over the top of the beakers there where I was riding. Did the Himalayan work? Oh, she did lovely. Did a lovely job. Couple of slips, but you're going to expect that anyway. You don't want anything you ride. Comfortable? Yes, she was. That screen at the front, does it start? Does it help anyway? Well, I don't know. If you know, obviously you're wearing a scarf like you do, right? There's nothing worse than that getting soggy around your neck, is there? Well, the way that the screen sits, the water kind of doesn't hit you there. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean it'll hit you anywhere else, but you know, those little annoying places. So all around, a good commuter bike, definitely. But would I advise anyone to buy one? As I said before, opportunity comes up, get one, because it's worth it. Anyway, now I'm going to go, but I'm going to come back on in a bit and tell you something else. But then I'm going to go now on this video. So what I say is thank you very much for watching it. Thank you to all my subscribers for subscribing. And you know, if you watch the video, please subscribe. Just you know, in a way that I know people are enjoying it. Okay. So enjoy yourselves. Life isn't very good at the moment, as we know what's going on in Ukraine, etc., etc. So it's very important that you go out and you make a stranger smile, but not by doing anything illegal or naughty. Anyway, listen, smile, have a good one, and I'll speak to you soon. Oh, and I'll be back on the road in the week anyway, so we throw some more videos up as well. More later. Enjoy.